I have been making this cake for years. I want to show you my secret to elevating the pineapple flavor using the juice from the can, making a simple reduction. You simply drizzle some of this reduction on every slice before you serve it. It brings this bright, tangy, pineapple-forward flavor to every single bite. It's amazing. Let's get started. First, preheat your oven to 350 degrees, that's 175 Celsius. Have a 9-inch pan ready. We'll be using the reverse creaming method, so grab your mixing bowl if you're using a stand mixer. We'll put the ingredients right into our stand mixer bowl, or a large bowl if you're hand mixing. Grab a sifter. I always like to sift everything together as it's going in. First, you need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, that's 190 grams. 1 cup of granulated sugar, that's 200 grams. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, that's 6 grams. And a 1/2 teaspoon of fine sea salt, 3 grams. Sift. Whisk to combine. And set it aside. Next, you'll measure out 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. This is at room temperature, that's 85 grams. And then 2 tablespoons of oil. This is 30 milliliters, and I'm actually using avocado. Any neutral oil is fine. Next, you'll need 3/4 cup of whole milk. This is 180 milliliters. Pour this into a larger measuring cup if you have one. Something that has a spout makes it so much easier to pour later on. 1 whole egg. Give it a little whisk. Pour that into your milk. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla bean paste if you have it, or extract is fine. That's 5 milliliters. I love to see the seeds of the vanilla bean in my finished product. It's so beautiful. Give this a whisk and then you'll set this aside. Okay. Next, you need a 20-ounce can of pineapple rings, or I actually have 2 smaller ones. You need about 12 rings total. I'm using a tray because this gets kind of sticky. Line it with some paper towels. Place your pineapple rings on the paper towels. We want most of the juice to come out of the rings so that it doesn't make our cake soggy. So we'll just place these on the paper towels and let them dry while we're making our cake. Don't throw your juice away, we'll be using this. I'm just using a small plate. Do the same thing, put some paper towels on it, and grab some maraschino cherries. If you have stems on them, you'll want to remove the stems. Again, we are trying to make sure that this juice doesn't go into the cake. And if you dry these, then they're less likely to bleed onto the pineapple. Once you have this done, just set these aside. So again, make sure you have your 9-inch pan ready. We're going to make our caramel topping for our cake. So grab a small saucepan is fine. You'll need 3/4 cup of dark brown sugar. This is packed, and that's 150 grams. Put it right in your pan. You'll need 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. That's 56 grams. 1 tablespoon of our pineapple juice, that's 15 milliliters, and a pinch of salt, just to help penetrate the sweetness. Now we'll go to the stove top and we'll put this on medium heat. Remove it from the oven, and we're adding 1 more pinch of salt. This just deepens the caramel flavor, brightens everything. Give it a good stir, and then we're going to pour this directly into our pan. Once you have your caramel in your pan, now it's time to place your pineapple. Either flip them over just to make sure that you're getting all of the juice out or most of the juice out, or I added another paper towel on top. Once you have this done, it is ready for the cake batter. Put it aside and we'll make our batter. I'm using a 9-inch Caraway pan. A huge thank you to Caraway for sending over this beautiful bakeware set. I do a lot of baking. I'm very selective about the tools I use and recommend. The non-toxic ceramic finish on this pan is a game changer for upside down cakes. If you've ever had a pineapple stick to the bottom of the pan, you know the heartbreak. This pan solves that problem. And they're gorgeous. They have the market on beautiful pans. Grab your dry ingredients and it's time to add our butter in. Just toss it into the flour mixture and we'll begin our reverse creaming. I'm just going to toss it lightly in here. Reverse creaming is simply coating the flour with fat to inhibit the gluten from forming. We want this to be nice and light and tender. Gluten makes structure and it can make a very dense cake, so we're coating the flour with fat. So put your mixer on low and watch it. It should take a minute or two. You're watching for no more large chunks of butter. It should look like a wet, sandy mixture when it's done. I will show you the texture in a moment. I turned the mixer up to 1 more, so just a low medium. I want more cutting action from the paddle. What we're doing is cutting the butter into the flour mixture. This is looking just about perfect. I will show you the texture so you have a good idea of what you're looking for. All of the flour is now coated with fat. This will prevent the gluten from forming. Now we'll add our oil in. You just want to drizzle the oil in and then mix it for like a minute. You just want to make sure that it slowly gets combined, and then we will move on to the next step. Mixer's on low, just slowly drizzle it in. As you're looking at it, it should look like wet sand. It should look damp and just uniform. Now it's time to add our wet ingredients. I'm giving this a stir. Pour half of your mixture in. Turn it on low just to start it, and then increase the speed to medium. I'm setting my timer for 1 minute. This is the one opportunity that we're taking to add structure into our batter. Okay. Add the rest of the wet ingredients in. Then with your mixer on low, just mix it until it's just combined. We don't want to overmix at this point. Once your mixture is combined, it's time to pour it into our pan. Once you have your batter in your pan, just smooth it out. I'm using an offset spatula. And then this needs to go in the oven for anywhere from 40 to 50 minutes. Now this cake needs to cool for 10 minutes in the pan. It just needs to sit and rest and settle. If you invert this onto a serving plate too soon, all of the topping will just go everywhere. And if you leave it in here too long, it will stick to the pan. So 10 minutes is a really good number. So set your timer for 10 minutes and then we'll invert it onto a serving tray. With every bit of confidence, I'm flipping this with the ceramic non-stick coating of this Caraway pan. It should do good things for us. Here we go. Look at that. Now we'll put this aside and let's make our pineapple reduction. This adds a hit of bright, fresh acidity to cut through the heavy caramel and the sweet, and it gives a beautiful pineapple flavor. It is truly the best part of the cake, and it's so easy. Take the juice you have in your can. You need 3/4 of a cup. This is 180 milliliters. Pour that into a small saucepan. Add in 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. That's 25 grams. Before we heat this, we need to get 1 teaspoon of lemon juice ready. We'll add that in after we heat our reduction. Just squeezing it in. 1 teaspoon is not very much. Simmer this on medium heat until it reduces by half. You'll watch the bubbles go from large and watery to smaller, tighter, and more active. They'll actually look like they're foaming slightly. This should take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Once you're assured it is done, remove it from the heat and stir in your lemon juice. And just let this sit and cool for a little bit. I have our pineapple reduction ready, and I am just loving the look of this classic, beautiful, old-fashioned cake. Let's cut a slice and have a look. This cake is really moist, really tender, and this 3/4 of a cup of juice reduced down to this, and this little reduction really brings the brightness of the pineapple flavor right back to this cake. You've got to give this a try, and if you love cake, check out my cake playlist. I look forward to seeing you there.